Oscar Piastri has dropped a bombshell ahead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and the ripple effect has sent shockwaves through the paddock. With the championship fight against Lando Norris heating up to unimaginable levels, Piastri has stood his ground with a kind of clarity and calm that has defined his career so far. He declared that nothing will change in the way he races, no matter how intense the fight becomes, no matter how much pressure comes from McLaren's pit wall, and no matter how the political storm swirling around him threatens to distract. This is the first time he has gone head-to-head with a teammate for a world championship, and yet he has made it clear that he refuses to compromise his natural racing style. To hear such conviction at this stage of the season, with the title very much on the line, has left Norris and the McLaren leadership stunned. It was not a heated rant or an emotional outburst. It was a carefully measured statement that cut deeper than anything else he could have said. What makes this revelation so powerful is the timing. With just 8 races left, Piastri holds a 31-point lead over Norris, a lead that is far from comfortable and one that can vanish in a single bad weekend. Everyone in the sport knows that such margins are fragile, and McLaren's team orders in Monza have already shown how strategy can completely reshape the picture. Piastri acknowledged that fighting his teammate has created complications he has never faced before, but he refused to let that alter his mentality. He insists on going race by race, seizing every opportunity and refusing to let the fear of what might happen in Abu Dhabi creep into his thoughts while Baku is still ahead. That mindset is not just a tactic. It is a weapon that allows him to block out the noise, the pressure, and the politics, keeping his focus razor sharp. Others may begin to crack under the weight of expectation. The shocking part is how openly he has spoken about the unique pressure of this fight. In Formula 2 and Formula 3, championships were decided on pure racing. No pit stops, no team orders, no layers of strategy clouding the picture. Now, for the first time, he is dealing with the reality that his destiny is not only in his own hands, but also in the hands of his team's strategy calls and the balance of fairness inside McLaren. By admitting this, Piastri has effectively dragged the truth into the spotlight, exposing the uncomfortable fact that his title challenge could be shaped as much by politics as by performance. And yet, rather than sounding shaken, he has turned that complication into a declaration of intent. He will not be unsettled, he will not back down, and he will not allow anyone to suggest that his campaign needs to change course. For Norris, the message could not be clearer. Piastri is not going to make life easier. He will not yield an inch beyond what the team forces upon him, and he will not let the pressure erode his confidence. Norris knows he cannot afford mistakes because every slip, every error, every misstep could be punished instantly by a rival who has already shown a relentless ability to capitalize. And for McLaren, the shock is even greater. Their young star has placed the responsibility squarely on their shoulders, making it clear that he will keep doing his part. They must ensure they do not tilt the scales again. In one calm, calculated statement, Piastri has redefined the battle for the World Championship. And now the question is whether Norris and McLaren can match his clarity, whether this bombshell in Baku will prove to be the decisive turning point in the fight for the crown. Oscar Piastri's bombshell ahead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix has done more than just raise eyebrows. It has detonated a debate that now dominates every corner of Formula One. With the championship balanced on a knife's edge, the Australian has chosen this exact moment to make his stance crystal clear. He will not compromise. No change of style, no extra layer of caution, no sudden shift into safe mode just to protect a 31-point lead. A driver in his 3rd season chasing his first world championship against a teammate in equal machinery, this is staggering. Normally you would expect cracks, nerves, hesitations. Instead, Piastri has presented himself as a stone wall, calm, focused and unflinching. That is why his declaration has landed so heavily, not because of how dramatic it sounded, but because of how utterly unwavering it was. The numbers tell one story, but Piastri's words tell another. 31 points over Norris is both everything and nothing. It's enough to make him favourite, but fragile enough that one bad pit stop, one mistimed safety car, or one mechanical failure could flip the table overnight. Monza already reminded everyone how brutally fine the margins are. Piastri has told the world that he will not blunt his natural style, and that means Norris cannot rely on luck, on diplomacy, or on team intervention to swing things his way. To beat Piastri, he has to do it outright, and he has to do it cleanly. That is why this statement has left Norris stunned, because it strips away any sense of comfort for him. Every weekend from now until Abu Dhabi is a final, every lap a test of nerve, every pit stop a moment that could define his career. And if he fails, the narrative will not be that he was unlucky. It will be that he could not match the sheer steeliness of the man in the other McLaren. And then there is the ghost that stalks this entire storyline. Max Verstappen, the reigning triple world champion, might be 60 points adrift, but his shadow looms over both papaya cars. He has already shown this year that he can muscle his way into the fight, stealing wins, spoiling weekends, and forcing Norris and Piastri to think twice about every move. McLaren insiders admit there is an undercurrent of fear about Max, not because he's likely to win the title, but because he can act as the disruptor, the wild card who tips the scales at the most inconvenient time. And Piastri's refusal to compromise means that if Verstappen attacks, he will not yield. That may thrill fans, but it could also spark the very bust-up McLaren dread, especially if Norris finds himself caught in the crossfire. The irony is delicious. McLaren wrestle with how to manage two championship contenders, while Verstappen lurks, waiting for the moment to remind them all why he has been the sport's most dominant force. The fans, meanwhile, have already started to write the script in their own minds. Polls show that nearly 3/4 believe Piastri will end the season as world champion. That is an extraordinary shift in perception, given that just a year ago Norris was being tipped as the one who could finally break McLaren's title drought. Now the narrative belongs to the Australian, and his bombshell only fuels that momentum. He has framed himself as the constant, the unshakable one, the driver who will not play politics, but will also not allow himself to be undermined.